Alright, so Friday, July the 3rd, I was kind of like before the Lord before going to sleep that night. And in prayer, I was having this one song by Grace Williams, Burn Within Me, from her album Firefall. And it was talking about going beyond the veil. So I was just praying to the Lord about going beyond the veil. You know, this is just something from my own life. It was about, Lord, I just pray to go beyond the veil. And Lord, I do pray to go beyond the veil. And the one thing that was prompted in my spirit was about doing a 21-day fast. And it's like, well, I had just recently done the 21-day fast about 3 months ago. And I was kind of checking my spirit. It's like, I just don't feel like he wants me to do a 21-day fast. I couldn't understand at the time why he was bringing that up, but later that night, I ended up having a dream. And I saw a hole that was wet, then dry, and saying ovulation has happened. Now, just to kind of pause in there, the hole and the wet and then dry, when I was studying about ovulation usually happens when they're wet, or a female is wet and then they kind of dry up. It's kind of like towards the end of the ovulation period, from what I understand. And an ovulation period can last, dependent on the female's menstrual cycle, can last up to 21 days. I did a 21-day fast. And so I believe God was actually alluding to something that I had done earlier, that was about 3 months ago. And then it continued on. I'm continuing on in this dream. And then I was also told you should give birth in about 6 months. And, okay, 3 months plus 6 months equals about 9 months. That's about the average time for someone to give birth. And I saw a ceiling-like structure was shown coming down on my pregnant stomach. I do believe this is the veil coming down. And so that was all that was shown to me. But there's also a few other significance about that. April 10th was the end of the fast, of the 21-day fast that I had done. Periodically, a pregnancy also lasts 40 weeks. I was 40, turning 41, so there's another 40 there. You know, Moses in the desert for 40 years, Jesus in the desert for 40 days, being pregnant for 40 weeks. Yeah, you kind of get the idea there. So around this time is basically the beginning of the second trimester of a woman being pregnant. The third trimester, from what I was putting into this website about ovulation and calculations and all that stuff, basically the third trimester of the pregnancy would technically start around the end of, what is that called? Yeah, not the Feast of Unleavened Bread, but Feast of Tabernacles. That's it. So, yeah, the third trimester would actually start around the Feast of Tabernacles, which is something I found interesting. And when I was also putting that in, basically calculating the end of the birthing process to be basically around the first of the year, I found that interesting also. Just like, okay, a new year, new birth. Something is being birthed around that time, at the beginning of the new year. Okay, cool. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you all. Take this to the Lord and pray upon it, and may the Lord bless you in everything. Amen. Bye. And bless you all.